It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Scent Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stand.
And don't forget you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in a hot cabin tonight.
It is warm in here, but it's cool outside.
Yeah, I got the window open.
You do have the window open. Compared to during the week when it was raging 90s.
Yeah. Monday?
Yeah.
That was
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Memorial Day.
Yep. And it was all hot out. And a little different story today.
Well, if y'all remember, we've been posting a lot. And I talked a little bit about this last week on the show. We had the big surprise coming from PSE Archery on Friday, and they unveiled the new Evolve 28. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention that again. We did a great video and interview with Dan Yassa and Chris Schnurr, PSE, the Michigan, Ohio
sales rep.
And
yeah,
Chris Schnurr is a PSE staff shooter. So.
Yeah, he was. They came out and he let us shoot the bow and get our hands on it, do a little touchy-feely thing.
Yeah, so we got a video.
We do, and...
Go over and check it out. It's on our Facebook page. Just scroll down from the link that you're probably watching the live stream on if you're watching.
Right. Go check it out. I'm not going to lie. I like it.
I loved it.
Yeah, I know PSE is a sponsor of Up North Journal, but as I talked about in the video, me being short as I am, that bow just fits.
Well, we shoot the 31 last year for hunting. That's what I'm going to use this year for hunting. And going 3 inches shorter, steeper string angle, and the bow was set up exactly like what we shoot. It was set up, maxed out, 60-pound limbs, pushing about 62 pounds roughly.
Yep, Dan said 62 and
27-inch draw, or 27 and a half.
And that's like the beauty of these bows today. He asked, "What's your draw length?"
Right.
"What's Mike's?" I said, "We're about 27. He's about 27 and a half ish. Yeah. 2 screws and
bang, bang,
bang, and okay, here you go. Start shooting."
But to me, when I drew, it seemed to roll over easier and hold. It seemed like the let-off was a little even.
It was 80,
more
80%.
It was it had the 80s mods on, and I shoot at 90. But I was like, man, it drew smooth. But Chris talked about that being a shorter bow, steeper angle. It was more in the cam. It was more into
absolutely more into the
rollover on it.
Correct.
So go and listen to him. He is the technical guy on that stuff, and he can explain it very well.
They both. One thing Dan and Chris can do is they can talk and wrench on bows.
Yep. So they know what they're talking about.
Absolutely.
They can back it up. So
and then
go over and check it out.
Check it out. And then what you didn't see in the video was Dan shooting that bow.
Mm-hmm.
And he had the in the video we have the Family of Evolve video.
Right, and actually I just released that today. It's on YouTube. It's not on Facebook yet. I'll put that out probably tomorrow.
Okay.
On Facebook, or maybe later tonight.
That Evolve cam system alone is just pretty cool.
Yeah, well, he called it the Evolve Revolution, or the Resolve to Evolve.
The Resolve, yep.
And he talks about that whole family of bows and how it was built.
Yep.
And he talks about all the bows that are in the family and how those are set up and who they fit, and it's pretty cool. It is
a cool thing. So go over, check that out. Get to your pro shop and try one.
Absolutely. So, but you've been shooting.
I have been shooting. I've been and okay. So when you get Dan to come around, things happen.
Yeah.
And so we've gone to shooting the Stan release.
Well, here, I'll just put it over here on the other camera here. I've moved this camera around.
Oh yeah, you have moved that camera. Yeah, and we're now shooting the Stan release. And he watched us shoot it, and then said, "Oh, we have to get you guys a spring trigger." Mm-hmm. And I said, "What?" So, needless to say, he added those spring triggers to each one of our releases. And I tell you what, it is that release, and we talked about this before we went on the show, has made a difference. It's hard to explain unless you shoot one.
It is. And,
it's like I didn't. I'm used to the old the trigger release that, and this is totally different, and it's pretty cool.
Well, when we started talking about this last year, and I actually shot one for the first time, I think it was Chris. Chris had one.
Yep.
We were at Cabela's getting our bows worked on, and he just happened to have his there. He's like, "You got to try this."
Well, we tried the Cabela's Instinct one.
Oh, that's right. It was made by
Stan.
Stan's.
It was made by Stan for Cabela's. We started out and we tried one of those. That was cool.
And it was, but I'm like, can I make this transition?
Right.
You know, I didn't know.
So, but other than that, I've been shooting all week. 20. I've moved out to 30 yards now. There's the old faithful.
You ever going to shoot one of these again?
I doubt it.
I
really
seriously doubt it too. I've been on that one for 2 weeks now.
Yeah, we've had them for 2 weeks now. The first week we had it was it wasn't a spring trigger.
It was the barrel.
It was the barrel, and then it was the barrel, full barrel like that. And then Dan said, "Oh, we're going to change that a little bit." And then he switched it to the spring trigger.
So we took the barrel off and put the spring trigger on.
Right. So
and yeah.
Needless to say, we're now shooting Stans, and they're getting there. I'm shooting the Ferocity. I'm trying to get that bow tuned in. I'll be tuning in the 35 here. I just ordered a sight, so I got to get the sight in, and then I'll wait on that, and then we'll get that and go from there. But it's something, I don't want to say simple, but just something so you're not used to doing makes it the way you shoot a whole lot better.
Right. Now, are you going to you're going to use the Ferocity in the field this year to hunt with? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you're using the 35, the Evolved 35 for target.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I can, I'll use that for hunting as well.
Okay. Purple. Okay. All right.
As long as it's not blue.
Right.
We have hey, look how orange this is.
Well, hopefully that's going to be in my hand, so deer won't be able to see that.
Are you going to have it in your hand, or are you going to let it hang on your string?
Actually, I'll probably let it hang on my string.
That's I was running through that in my head when I was sitting. I'm like, so how am I going to handle this? And what I thought of was it's gonna be the hang on the string.
I think so. Yeah, it is what it is. But
Billy Hoffman wants to know what the advantage is of the thumb release over a trigger.
Okay. Dan, you're gonna be my string here. So let me see. Yeah, I think we can show it this way.
If you do it right about here.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, no, here. Let me turn to the other camera here. This is good for y'all on the podcast. You're gonna have to come over to the live stream to see this. Okay. So when you draw, you turn it sideways like this, and this part of your hand right here between these two fingers fits right back here on your jaw. Okay. So there's the anchor point. And as you apply pressure and push back, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, it goes off. Because as you release, you can release pressure here, which will cause this to turn and rock into your thumb, or you can move your thumb into it, or you can pull with your pinky and turn into it as you push, pull back.
Okay, now that you've explained that, Charles Byram has a comment that a buddy of his just posted a picture of his face split open from using a thumb release. Third person I know who has done this. Mike?
Make it number 4. Actually, the first time I was at the shop getting the bow set up, I did not have the hook right here all the way on the string loop, and it pinched it. And when I pulled back, it popped and banged.
Literally popped you in the jaw.
Yeah, I didn't see stars, but I cut my lip. My front tooth was a little bit sore. Yeah, so and it will teach you very quickly. And when you pull back on it, that thumb goes behind the barrel. That's how you pull back. And once you anchor, then you come back around and wrap that finger on that spring or the barrel if you've got the barrel.
Exactly. And I am, after you told me that, that's like one of my conscious things. And I did it when the guys were here, that I pulled back, and they were freaking out too about.
Right.
But it's just something you learn. And you're right, Billy Hoffman. It is not connected to your body like this one is.
Like this one.
So, but Billy says you better have 2 of them because he knows he's going to drop one for sure. That is a story that Dan Yassa can tell you about dropping his as well from the stand and going down and trying to find it.
Yep.
And luckily he did.
But you can actually take, and there is a hole right here, and you can run a string. You can put a lanyard on it.
Yeah, you can.
So that way it will be around your wrist. But of course you got to get it out of your bag and put it on, that whole 9 yards. The same thing with putting one of these on. I've dropped this style before as well. But if you think about, once you pull back, my old anchor point was back here. It wasn't as defined as this part right here being locked on the backside of my jaw. I mean, that's an exact spot where this, when you come up here, there's movement. You
can punch the trigger,
and that's probably the bigger thing is you're punching the trigger.
Absolutely.
But depending on how you got if you're reaching for it,
there's several movement. Different factors that can go wrong. That it happens.
Go actually look at the video that we shot with Eric Springer at the ATA of Stan's.
And he explains the advantages of going with one of these,
yep.
and how he even gets into the point of lining up the elbow to the string through the trigger. It all becomes that motion.
Okay, so here, let's go back to this camera again. When you're using that trigger release, your hand is like this. Your hand is like this, and you get the trigger, and you're squeezing here on the barrel, and you're pulling like this. With this release, if you look at the way my hand is, the fingers are straight. It's a straight line from here all the way back into your shoulder.
Yep.
When you're locked in like this, it's
all straight.
The elbow joint is the only thing that's bent here, but it's a straight line versus being up like this and being twisted and turned. It just eliminates so many other things that can go wrong. And I tell you what, after shooting this thing for 2 weeks, I've put probably 400 arrows through this release already. And my consistency has went way up.
And far as that's going, Billy, it minimizes the possibilities of things going wrong.
It does.
Now, like Charles Barham says, he would drop 10 of them if they weren't attached to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so
here, let's go back over. Cut back over. Okay, so if you're in the stand, and what's wrong with that right there?
Right.
There's not the only thing. The thing that can go if you're not paying attention is when you grab. Don't grab up here. You got to have that thumb behind.
Yep.
And then pull back for your shot. So
it's got to need some practicing. There's no doubt about it. I haven't used one in the field yet, so we'll stay tuned for that episode.
And the other thing I like about this is you can actually practice at home with this and not have to worry about dry firing it. If you look right here, once you lock that into position, there's a little hole down here on the bottom. And if you put this screw in, after you attach it to your bow, you can fire it, and this jaw will not come open. So you can practice form. You can practice firing.
Yep.
Repeatedly without dry firing it.
Got it like that.
So
yeah, come check out Stan's video we did for ATA.
That's the best way.
He explained it all in a nutshell. Since we're so
new to it,
new to the Stan family.
Yeah, it's and that guy knows the product inside and out, and he can go through it and guide you down that path. I will say, I was very reluctant to give up my trigger release. You tried it last year,
and I tried a thumb release last year, but only to find out that the thumb release was backwards. Because if you remember, right, we went to the shoot,
right,
and then I was so excited I was using a thumb release, and I was like, I'm going to show Dan how to do this. But all to find out that it was actually more of a pushing motion, which was making me shoulder collapse, and I was just shooting fool. Whereas we watch Dan now and shooting these stands now, it's now more of a pulling action, pulling the bow apart.
Exploding, yep.
And more or less relaxing.
Yep.
But, so you know where that release ended up.
Yeah.
And I still don't know where it's at, to tell you the truth, now that I think about it.
Somewhere in the woods?
It might be. It might be in Ohio. I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get too long in the tooth here, why don't we just throw it to a break and we'll come back, we'll continue the conversation.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at psearchery.com.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. We're talking a little bit about shooting bows and Stan's release.
You know, we're talking about shooting bows and stuff. But also last week when I wasn't there, you went up north.
Yeah. You want to talk about that first?
Let's go there.
All right. So last weekend, Saturday, I was up at camp meeting with our consultants that were helping us with the property.
Absolutely.
And with his permission, Wayne Sitton give us a little school on the ground. He let me shoot some video. So I showed this last week, but you weren't here. So I want to kind of banter a little bit back and forth about this.
I want to see the guy throw a hula hoop.
Well, let me get it lined up here. We're gonna try this one more time. Last week it worked pretty well. So here's the video that we shot up at our camp last week.
Take a look at that. Say, okay, what's in it? What's in it, deer will eat. So we'll pull out what a deer's going to go after. He's going to go after that right there. He's going to go after that right there. So you get the message. What I'm doing.
There's not a lot in there. The deer's going to eat.
There's not a lot in there. There's a little maple they'll get. Then this follows up your Anna's deer browse pretty good.
Okay.
But the rest of this is nothing the deer wants. Okay.
Okay.
So. And this is spring, so this comes up and it's done. There's nothing else here for it. Okay? So if you put it out here, everything in there deer will eat. Okay? And it'll come back. They'll eat it, it'll come back, eat it, come back. So if you remember us talking about an acre of food plot is equal to 100 acres of well-managed forest.
Right.
So this circle represents 100 of these out there.
Okay.
So the value you're getting in this little hoop is equal to 100 out there if this was well managed.
If it was.
Yeah. So you're probably 150, you're 149 short out of what you have right there.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. So your bang for your buck is in right now is in the food plot.
Yes.
The food source, the amount of food.
Source. Right now we're looking at getting the deer in better shape coming out of the winter, because till they recover their body fat, they're going to start growing antlers.
Okay.
Okay. Which is what everybody's after is antlers. But for us, we're in the milk cow business right now. We saw a doe that's about to fawn. She needs to make milk. It's going to be tough for her to make milk out there, and she's going to spend a lot of time away from her fawn because she's got to eat.
Which I would think would increase the chances of predation.
It goes through the roof.
Okay.
So if she'll fawn right here close, this food plot, can eat, lay down, digest her food, make milk, go feed her fawns, come back over and over.
Okay.
Versus being off chasing some groceries somewhere.
Gotcha. There you go.
I tell you what, I've met Wayne twice, maybe 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I listen to him and the more he talks, I don't know what it is about his voice or the way that he comes across, but he's like E.F. Hutton. It's like the guy talks, and when we were at the necropsy, he was doing that. You know, Dr. Deere was doing a thing, but when Wayne's voice projects, it projects. Yeah. And when a guy takes a hula hoop and throws it in the woods,
you're just jealous because you can't throw a hula hoop like that.
No.
But you can't swivel those hips, right?
Yes, I can. It just goes to show you that what he was saying, just by using a hula hoop as a reference,
right?
And saying, because I think when he threw it in the woods, he picked I think it was like 6 to 8 things, this, and this,
right?
That they're gonna eat.
Yep.
Nothing else.
Right.
And then he took it and he threw it in a food plot, and he said basically they're gonna eat all of that, and it's gonna come back.
Right.
And it's like, wow, I know some people always wonder about food plots and why do you do it, and well, this goes to show you, and he talked about it. It's fawning season. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with hunting season
right now. No,
it's basically getting that fresh green up for the does, so they can have somewhere to go to eat, to produce milk for their fawns that they're about to drop or dropped. And the more they have to go browse, the farther away they get away from their little ones. And like he said, and you said it, predation goes through the roof.
That was, to me, that's the one thing that the take home for me was the fact that I've never made the relationship with a food plot to predation. I've never thought about that.
No, and you think about it, and he put it into really good terms. Is she's going to eat here, mm-hmm. go over there, drop her fawns, and come right back, mm-hmm. eat, make milk, go feed, repeat.
Yeah.
Where, okay, if you got to go into the woods and scrounge, you're going that further away. Mm-hmm. So if you're thinking about food plots, then surely just in the health of the herd, mm-hmm. The advantages are just getting that green up that they can eat plenty of and have it regenerate for them.
Right.
I mean, like I said, when he talks, and he knows his stuff, it's not like he just pulled this.
Well, let's throw this into the equation and just expand just a little bit. Now, put a bunch of does on the field or in the woods. Put a bunch of them out there. Okay, so you got all these different does that are fawning now. They're competing for that same forage.
Yeah, they are. They're you take that one hula hoop of 8 things. And pick 5 mm-hmm. does, or pick 8 does,
right?
That pick 8 things. Okay,
yeah,
and
multiply that by however many.
Right. So
that's another reason keeping your doe population in check, keep your buck to doe ratio correct, keep your herd in the right balance.
To get your herd in the right balance, to get the health of the herd better.
Yeah.
It isn't about hunting. It isn't about. It's about it's scientific health of the herd.
The more I read, the more I study this stuff, the more I listen to people, it just, you start, like I said, I equate it to a puzzle. I'm putting little pieces together here, and here, and you start seeing things, but it just blows my mind, some of the things that you really don't think about, and all of a sudden you get a piece of information like that, and it's like, wow, I never thought of it that way, and then it shows you the importance of keeping, the right amount of deer on your property, number one. But then, and not too many, and keeping the right ones on top of that, and then the food plot and the habitat, and goes along with the logging, making sure you got the right forage.
Exactly.
All it plays together.
Just like he said about the food plot, but then it's also about the health of your forest.
Yeah.
If your forest is healthy, the food plot isn't necessarily a bigger factor.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah.
But if you've got a healthy forest, then it all works.
Yeah.
But if you've got an old forest, where like he showed, then you're going to have some problems.
Yeah, and that's part of what we're working on in our place right now with the logging process. And and I read something today that Dr. James Kroll had put out earlier today, shared on the page, about prescribed fire.
Okay.
And the way it works in conjunction with the habitat, and it does certain things. And he was equating it back to era gone by now, back, I believe, when the buffalo were here. And you need to go over and read it, because I can't really explain it that well. But he was talking about how when one animal comes in and uses the new growth after a fire, and what they do to the landscape, how that helps create habitat for other animals. It all starts kind of working together.
Yep.
But prescribed fire is another tool to use to keep your habitat renewed and keep it going.
Renewing, keeping your forest healthy.
So, but I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here on our second break. When we come back, I want to run through something that I came across today when I was shooting with the sites on the site housing, that problem that I had to work around.
All right, let's do it.
So we're going to step outside. We'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Dan Anderson says, evening, guys.
Hey, Dan, what's going on?
Hello, Wisconsin.
That's right. Welcome back, everybody. Third segment of the show, and you can see right here, we got the bow up here, got the site housing. I don't know if you can actually see the pin gaps on that. That's pretty small. I'm looking at the monitor there. It's kind of hard to tell. But what I came across today is when I started sighting this new site in, this Copper John, you know, I had my 20-yard pin, you know, up here towards the top, and then I started working my way down. I got to the 30 or 25, 35, and then I started working on my 45. And the reason, I guess I should explain why I'm going on 5-yard increments instead of like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. I'm going 25, 35, 45, 55, 65. Is Jim Beasley at Spot Shooter.
Who is now watching.
Hey, Jim. He is?
He is watching.
Talk about timing. Is that when you're shooting the hunter division in targets, and this is my target setup, is, you know, you want to start at 25 because you can make that adjustment back to 20.
Right.
And then when you're at 65, you can actually step it out and shoot that 70 or maybe that 80. But it gives you a little more versatility than starting at 20 because you're only allowed 5 pins.
Yep.
So that would stop you at, say, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. So
if you go out 5 more, you can get up to 65.
Yeah, and it gets you closer to that 80-yard shot.
Right.
So that being said, I did the 25, the 35, and I started doing the 45. And as I started sighting it in, here, let me flip back around to the other camera now. I noticed that I was going to run out of clearance in the housing.
Okay. Yep.
That my last pin, by the time I got it sighted in, was going to be, it wouldn't have room.
Right.
And so I'm like, man, I said, I should have thought this through a lot better. So what I did is I dropped my bottom pin down just about as far as I wanted it in my sight housing. Okay. And I knew roughly that I could hit the bale at 65 with that. I knew it was going to be somewhat close. I wasn't going to lose an arrow. So I reared back, let one fly, and shot another one. I shot 3, and I was pretty low. So I did a gang adjustment on the sight.
On the housing itself.
On the housing. I dropped the housing. I kept dropping. I actually went 3 full turns down until I got that thing on. And then I tweaked it and got it to where it was shooting on target or on bullseye. So at that point, then I started backing up. Then I went back to that 45-yard pin, and obviously it was going to be shooting high. So I tweaked that. I tweaked the pin in.
Yeah.
Okay. At that point, then I went to the 35, and I got it close. But by the time I got to that point, my shoulder was giving up.
Right.
I was tired, and I was starting to lose my concentration and my grouping. I'd probably run 70, 80 arrows today, and I was just, shoot. So I was like, put the bow away. It's kind of like, I guess, guys, when they golf.
When you get tired, when you do something, you get tired. When you're practicing and you start to get tired, just put it away.
Yeah.
It's in anything that you do. Once you get tired, stop. Because it's not value added at that point.
Yep.
And whether you're golfing, bowling, anything.
So now I know when I go to that 25-yard pin, I got plenty of clearance that I can raise it. So now my stack is going to be set within that housing.
Right.
So.
And yes, Dan Anderson, you did see Mike shooting. It was at 65 today.
65 yards, yes.
It was 65 that he was shooting. That's the picture that you posted.
Yeah, I don't think I posted that picture.
Let
me go back over here real quick.
I think you were. You posted a picture.
Let's see. What picture did I post? It was 65.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, it was.
So, yes, he did see you shooting at 65.
Yeah.
So, there you go. But like you said, you're getting tired, and it's just like, shut it down and come back tomorrow.
Yeah. So, I guess the moral of the story, thinking back about what I went through, is when you start sighting in, and if you're sighting in something, take into consideration how many pins you're going to have, and think about, okay, when you don't want that, if you're going to set 20, most people sight in at 20, that you don't want it, towards the center of that aperture. Because by the time you get done, if you're shooting 5 pins and you're stacking them at 10 yards apart,
you want to get that housing down.
Yes.
When you're shooting multiple pins,
you want to make sure there's going to be enough room
for all the pins.
All the pins in there. Correct.
Yep. Absolutely. So absolutely. And see, that's one of the things you got to get around. So it's like, okay, figure it out. You had to make a gang move.
Yep. But man, the 25 and 35 were dead on, man. I mean, when I realized what I'd done, I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, right. Well, that's why we practice. It's just one of those things that I've done that reset and said, okay, let's start all over again.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's good to get out there and shoot those. And now that you're at 65, to pull off the 80 is just you'll know the adjustment.
Yeah, I know what it is on my hunting bow.
Right.
Yeah, this one I haven't
gotten there yet.
I haven't gotten there yet. So, I don't know. I don't know what my holdover is going to be. I'm going to have to do some practicing.
And there isn't much flinching at holdover point.
No,
not at 80.
You know that if you look at that photo, that one that's about 4 inches to the right, there was there was a flinch there, but it wasn't anything that I really noticed. You know, it's just it's tough, man.
I know it is
holding on, but I got to thank the release, man. This new release is definitely improved my shooting.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I just don't want to bust my mouth again.
No, let's not do that.
So
let's not do that because now that you've got the sight, what do you think? How do you like the counterbalance weights?
Have
you noticed anything different? You haven't noticed anything?
It's part of my procedure. Dan talked about the process.
Yes.
Everybody, when you're shooting target, you need to develop a process.
Yep.
A shooting technique that you go through every single time and build your process. What I wonder is how it's going to correlate to the stand for me when I'm hunting.
When you got a deer in front of you and
I'm wondering because
exactly.
I don't have a back bar on my hunting rig. I don't have this back bar here.
Yep.
But this right here, that's part of my process now. That right there, when I get ready to knock an arrow, that right there goes right into the pocket on my hip right here.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
And it fits me perfectly to where I can pull an arrow, index it, put it on, flip the rest up, lock on my release, and go through my shooting.
So what's it going to change when it goes to hunting when you don't have that bar?
Yeah, I don't know.
And the target is now brown and furry.
I don't know.
And walking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or stopped, whatever it's doing.
So,
but I just wondered how you were liking the sidebar.
I think it keeps you from torquing. You know what I have noticed, and this may be part of it, is part of that is when I draw and pull up, I'm watching my level in my sight housing. So when I come to full draw, my goal is to be level.
You're probably pretty close there.
It's almost spot on every time, and I really think this counterweight over here on the side, it keeps you from wanting to do this.
Yep.
Versus the one out front keeps you wanting to tweak left or right.
I think it's a combination of the sidebar, but also the release.
Yeah, because it just balances, man. It just
right in your hand.
It's really amazing what just a few little things that I've never used before.
Right.
How it's really enhanced my shooting.
Absolutely. It's just.
What about you?
Same thing. Like I said, with the new release, we're shooting the reds. I'm shooting the Mayhem. I'm shooting SD, the small diameter arrows. Mm-hmm. And it's putting it all together from Carbon Express, stands, PSC, the whole 9 yards to get that follow through, to get the process. I kind of been working on one this week as to, okay, I'm going to do this. Mainly this week has been, now that Dan gave us the new spring trigger, trying to make sure I don't biff myself in the mouth.
Have you used it yet?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And?
I haven't hit myself in the mouth.
Okay.
A little paranoid about that. That's okay. Thanks to you. You're like a safety video in my head.
Thanks.
But
I'm glad I wasn't videotaping that.
Right?
It would be live streaming that.
Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
But shooting, all that is I'm just working on it.
Okay.
Slow and steady.
All right. And you've seen it.
I've seen an improvement.
Okay. Noticeable improvement.
To me, shooting myself, yeah. When I'm and sometimes a little frustrated, thinking the group I had should have been better. Mm-hmm. And then when I have a better group, I thought that would be worse. It's like all mental. It's like, oh man,
like golf.
Yeah, it's like walk down, because I shoot 3 arrows, and I just shoot 3 and see where I go, and it's just like, and then I walk down there and go, Well, it wasn't too bad.
Well, now, so you don't keep binoculars with you?
Actually, no, I haven't been. No, I shoot, and then I'll walk down range. Kind of gives me a break to shoot. Yeah. Let my dogs go run in the woods. Mm-hmm. Come back, shoot, walk down. It's just a little bit of a break in between, so I'm trying not to get too fatigued or anything like that. And especially last week when it was so hot, it was just like, ugh.
Right.
But anyways, but you just the process. Okay, so making sure the release is knocked. Mm-hmm. Making sure it's there for sure. It's not pinching. Yeah. Yep. And then I'll let it hang there, or I'll look at my arrow and make sure that's indexed right. Or just looking at all the different things that we're using this year, and then applying everything that Dan's got in your head, or Chris, is, do this and do that, and making sure your anchor point, making sure your release. And I've caught myself a couple times jumping and collapsing.
Mm-hmm. Instead of pulling through the shot?
Yeah, I collapsed. And, well, that was goofy, but it's part of the process, right?
Right.
So it's all in practice.
Yeah, I think that's one thing I've been really working on right here this last couple times I've been out is my follow through of just making sure that when I do release it, I explode backwards.
Right.
That shot comes, or the hand comes back and follow through. And when I'm doing that and that push pull sequence, I've noticed it's almost like a surprise when that bow goes off, and it's just a fluid motion, and you watch that arrow. And you just see the impact, and you know you've executed a good shot. Exactly. It's almost, I guess I equate it to guys maybe that play baseball. When you hit the sweet spot, you don't even feel it, and the ball just goes flying.
As opposed to when you don't, and it vibrates through your hands, and you see the guys shaking their hands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's
absolutely.
Watching, like you talked about Dan and talking about Chris shoot and watching them shoot. You ever watch Hansen shoot?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's just like he's like a machine, and that's that repetitive boom, boom. It's just like a machine.
But he did have one today, a comment today that it was on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Something about shooting, and then being stupid about it. So something tells me something might have went a little awry.
I did see that, yeah.
But it's like it happens to everybody.
Sure,
just like we saw it in the video from Lancaster. That gentleman.
Well, I dwarfed 2 shots today. Or no, not today. Yesterday. I was shooting in the evening. Sun's starting to, get down the horizon a little bit. Bugs start to come out. And I shot quite a few arrows already. And I was towards the end of what I was going to do. And I'm just ready to release. I mean, as I start to execute that shot, a bug goes between my glasses and my eyelash.
Oh!
And I just explode, and I hit the backstop.
Right.
I was like, what just happened? I was like, man, get out of there.
The bugs in your eye, right?
And then I had another one do the same thing, and I shot low. It was on my leg. It landed on my leg just as I was shooting. It's just those little things that disrupt you.
Absolutely. And it's all part of the process, and when the process gets interrupted,
that's
what happens.
Yeah. So what do you do in the stand when mosquitoes are flying around?
Right. Well, stay tuned, right?
Right.
So, you have your thermosol with you.
All right. I'll tell you what. Let's step outside. We'll take our last break. We come back. We'll continue talking about shooting bows and whatever else we can conjure up here. So
right.
We'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at psearchery.com.
Killer Food Plots have been helping property owners for over 20 years create premier whitetail habitat. Whether replenishing your soil with their all-natural Organics Fusion pellets or planting a premier KFP food plot seed blend to help your deer rebuild their bodies through spring and summer while supplying the much-needed high energy during and after the rut, you can trust that Killer Food Plots family and their products will help your deer achieve their full potential.
Welcome back.
Last segment of the show. 466.
466. Chugging along to 500.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And also chugging along, one of our sponsors every Friday night, Lim Walker Game Calls.
Mm-hmm.
Tim sees himself doing a live stream. He's been doing it every Friday, talking turkey. Anything turkey, really. It's been...
This Friday wasn't... We talked turkey, but it got taken way down the road.
Well, it's funny. So far, he's talked about elk. He's talked about bear.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good, though.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like he's got their bear season is pretty interesting down there. Like he said, at his mom's place, they have a lot of bears, but where he's located, to see a bear is something special.
Yep.
So...
But they have a lot of hunting days compared to what we have here in Michigan.
Right, because here we have a week.
You've got a week. Depending on which zone and how it all shakes out, when it is. But yeah, it's you pick your season, you pick your area, and it's a lottery draw. So
I gotcha. And yes, Tim has enjoyed the show as usual. But yes, he's been waiting.
Well, let's get to it.
All right. So on Tim's show Friday night, there was a gentleman that. He was asking for questions, and somebody asked, and I don't remember his name off the top of my head, he asked about a shotgun.
Right.
What shotgun to use.
Mm-hmm.
And you could go anywhere from a Remington to a Browning to a Winchester.
Mossberg.
Yeah.
Charles Daly.
Yeah, pick whatever. And somebody said, and I just happened, and I don't know how old this gentleman is, if he's a youngster or not, but I said, hey, price of the gun and everything out there, depending on what you're looking for, a Mossberg is not a bad deal.
Right.
And matter of fact, I got the Mossberg 500, the turkey gun. That's got the stock. It's got the pistol grip stock. And so,
show everybody the action's open on this before we...
The action's open, see? Nothing's in there. So Tim asked me if I could bring this on the show, and I said, okay, I will.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to let you talk about it. I'm going to pull my mic down here. I'm going to jump over to the other camera, and that way I can kind of run camera while you're talking here. So
this gentleman was on the show asking about it, and I just got this gun a couple years back, and I'll put it up here. Ooh. Am I on that camera? Yeah, okay.
Right now.
So there you go. It's a Mossberg 500. It's in 20 gauge. I've got on here a True Glow, turkey stop, a gobbler turkey stop, red dot. It comes in red and green. You can switch the optics in there. It comes with a dot and a circle. The circle represents 24 inches at 30 yards. So when you're patterning your gun, you can see what your pattern's doing. So, but other than that, this gun, I was pleasantly surprised when I shot this, how smooth it was shooting. But what I liked about it is because my wife also hunts, and so does my girls. And us being in the smaller stature, and this is what's nice about this, is you can take this and adjust this stock. So if you got somebody that's a little bit taller, framed, they can take that out there and make it bigger, or pull it in tighter for shorter. And you can adjust this however you want, which is kind of like really nice. And then you get the pistol grip.
How many stops does that have on the stock? And you just knocked your mic over.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now fix your mic.
I'm going to. Hold on. There's going to be... Hold that.
Ooh. Can't take you anymore.
No, you can. Seems tight. But anyways, so there's 5 stops on there. And then that's adjustable. Other than that, the pistol grip, it's a pump action. And... I tell you what, it's a very nice smoothing gun. It's got the turkey choke on it, right there.
And Magna ported.
There's the turkey choke. That'll come out. There's your turkey choke that came with the gun. And then this year, I had it Magna ported, and I don't know if you can see that, but along here.
Rotate the barrel just a little more. You start to kind of see through there.
Okay. And in there, and on both sides, is Magna porting, and I got that at a one of the benefit dinners that I silent auctioned, and I won that, and I had it done this year. I haven't been able to shoot it with the Magna porting, but I can't wait to. Now, the Magna porting does not hurt the efficiency of the gun at all, but it does reduce the kick. Now, it's funny you say that because I thought this gun, for being a 20 gauge, didn't kick as bad as a 12 gauge.
All right.
Now, there's the shot that I've been shooting. These are 3-inch 20 gauges. This is number 5 shot.
We're back up here now.
Back up there. So that's what I'm shooting out of this gun. And my groupings for the number 5s, 20 gauges to find in multiple shot sizes is tough. Mm-hmm. And basically what's happened is I've found 5s. So I shoot 5s.
Really? I always found 6s.
Well, the last couple of years, I've only been able to find 5s.
Okay.
And it's just one of those things. So you deal with it.
How do you like the red dot?
I love the red dot. This one, the difference between this red dot and the red dot on my 12 gauge is this one's got the circle. Mm-hmm. The other one's just a dot.
Just a dot. Okay.
Right. So actually, when you paper tune this in and you shoot at Williams, which is 25 yards, you can see exactly where your pattern is in that window.
Okay.
Of the circle.
Okay.
So it kind of helps you.
Right.
So,
but
I like it, and and you can go red or green. I think I got green there.
Different intensities.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, when you look through there, you can see,
Oh yeah.
So if you're going,
you got the circle and you got the dot in the center of the circle. Yep.
Yep. And so you just put it right where you want it to go, touch it off, and away you go. So, but I just wanted to bring that on for Tim. Now do something.
Okay, so all in all, what did this setup cost you, minus the magnet porting?
Mine.
How much was the gun?
The scope, $75.
Mm-hmm.
The gun got it on sale at Cabela's a few years back, and I want to say it was $3 something.
Regular price $4 something
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
But and then I don't know. I just like that convenience, everything. It's a smooth shooting gun. Surprisingly, I was shocked actually when I shot this compared to the Remington that I got, the 12 gauge. Big difference. So, but no, I wanted to bring that on for Tim to show, and he can tell the gentleman to take a look. And I this gun in 20 gauge, and I've heard a lot of people say 20 gauges are nice, and they are, even for deer hunting for 12. I love it.
Tim wants to know what the total weight of the gun is. Do you know?
I don't know offhand. It's a good question.
7 pounds?
Probably.
6 pounds, 7 pounds, somewhere in there.
That sounds about right.
And
I haven't added anything to it except putting the scope on it.
Okay. You got composite foregrip on it. You got composite stock.
Yep.
So I guess it's. I would think it probably weighs a little less than a standard Mossberg 500 20 gauge.
Right. So it just.
You're going to Google it, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Hang on one second, Tim. We'll get you an answer.
The great of the internet.
Right. Those are pictures.
Oh,
those are just pictures.
Yeah, it's not going to give me the link to it like I wanted.
He looks at pictures. He has a hard time reading.
Really?
Right there it is.
Wait.
Weight 6 3/4 pounds to 7 pounds.
There you go.
Man, was I close or what?
You were good. You were good. So there you go. So Tim, have your friend check one of these out, Mossberg. For as much as I shoot, Mossberg's always been good to me. I've got Mossberg 500s.
Right.
I'm not a trap shooter by say, so
right.
They fit my bill.
Right. I got you.
So now I got to remember to turn the scope off or else I'm going to have a dead battery.
Yep. Make sure you do that right now. Turn to the off position.
Right. There you go.
So, yeah, our turkey season's over with.
Because we're in June.
Yeah. Tag sandwich here. Tag soup or whatever you want to call it. So, looking back, I had fun. I took a new hunter out. That was my goal this year.
Yeah, he loved it.
I knew where the birds were. We got on birds. I got to hunt solo one evening or one morning hunt. So I chased birds all over. You go back and listen to that episode, and you can hear how out of breath I was after that morning.
Yeah.
So
gotta get back on the bike, man.
I did today. I rode today.
Right.
Yes, I did. I rode 5 1/3 miles today.
Excellent.
Yeah, and the last half mile into a 20-mile-an-hour headwind uphill was a killer. I thought I was going to die.
Now you gotta put the weighted pack on.
Interesting. I've thought about that.
I've seen a couple guys running around the city.
Running with packs?
Running with, I think it's just a weight pack.
Yeah.
Man.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're doing some, like maybe out west hunting or something like that.
They potentially could be, or they could be doing those, not just a run.
Triathlon?
Like the obstacle thing, where they do the obstacle courses and stuff.
Okay.
Like an Ironman thing.
Right. You do the swimming, you do the biking, you do the running and all that, yeah.
But, it's just one of those things. But it's June, so now we got to turn our attention to some fishing.
Yeah, after we get off the show here, I was actually going to bring that up to you. So how strange that you mentioned that.
I worked on our aluminum tin can a little bit, got the trailer back to working.
Okay.
Found it had 2 different size tires on it. I'm like, what? Because I had one go bad, right? I'm like, okay.
So was you riding down the road sideways?
Well, I was like, okay. So Kelly and Gabby helped me, and I was like, okay, let's pull these tires off. Let's look at the size. So I pulled a bad one off. It's 4.7. I'm like, okay, by 8. All right. And I said, Gabby, what's that one? She goes, 5.7. I went, what?
Yeah.
So I pulled them both off
taller.
and said, yeah, we're not going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and bought 2 new tires, new lights.
Got it all wired?
It's got it all wired.
You rewired it?
Yep.
How'd you like that?
Half hour.
Yeah, I hate wiring.
Piece of cake.
Absolutely hate it.
I love it. It's boom, boom, boom.
Okay, the next time it needs to be done on mine, I'll have you do mine.
Okay. I taught Gabby how to do it. We showed her we did it and got it through. And so I had to fix a hole in the boat because of an arrow.
Were you bow fishing?
No.
You missed a target?
No. Well, it wasn't me.
Oh, yeah. He says it wasn't him, folks.
It wasn't me. But it was kind of funny when we
How come I haven't heard this story yet?
It's my daughter. I'm not going to embarrass her.
Okay.
Till now. But last year, we were shooting the bows, and the boat was close to the target, and I said, just don't hit the boat. Ding!
Yeah.
So
she had a mosquito go between her eye and her glasses.
Something like that. So
see, I can understand that.
So I got some. I use JB Weldon for aluminum and water, and so see how that goes.
Is it below the water line?
Yeah.
Is it in the bottom of the boat?
No, side of the boat.
Okay, so you'd be able to tell pretty quick.
Oh yeah. So we're at the point now. We got to go test launch it.
I think you'd be all right.
I think so too. It really it didn't go through. Basically the field point just put its tip through and then went back.
Okay, so you just got a crack in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be fine.
So I'd like to get out there, do some fishing now. Mm-hmm. So hopefully during the week we'll go launch the. I have a name for the boat, the SS Red, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to name it.
How about the Holy Skiff?
It might be. It might be. But other than that, we're into month 6 of the year.
I know, it's almost half over. Now we're less than 6 months away from the opening day of firearm deer season.
And we're only 20-something days from losing
daylight. Yeah, so July, August, September, October. We're less than 4 months away from the opening of bow season. And less than that
early seasons where whoever's got those going on.
Yeah.
And then
3 months to goose season.
And that starts hunting seasons like in Kentucky and stuff. Don't they do like a September 1st for velvet bucks?
I think it's the 15th. I think it's the 15th.
But still, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be here before you know it.
Hopefully we'll be getting we're talking with Cabela's to see when we're going to be down there. Mm-hmm. So we'll let everybody know when we hear about that. Some things going on, obviously, with the Bass Pro Cabela's thing.
Still
working out kinks.
Yep.
So stay tuned. We'll be down there for sure, probably for the something hunting.
Yeah, it's going to be here before you know it.
It is, and then it's going to be one of those things. Dave Hamady says, "Hey,
hey, Dave,
we're going to blink and we're going to be hopefully October 1st up in a tree somewhere."
Yeah, I don't think the first falls on a weekend this year. And I was debating that it really depends on the weather and how hot it is, whether I'm going to get up and be up on the opener or if I'm going to be up that opening weekend. And I think I've got
Monday.
I think I've got week 2 off. Actually, no, that's the calendar right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm off on the 15th. Is the 15th the third week?
1, 2, 3. Yes.
Yeah, I think I got that week off.
Okay.
I think that's when I plan on going up.
Sweet.
So I may slide that. I don't know. We had planned on that bear hunt in September. We just couldn't make that work for us. So I'm going to take that week and probably shuffle it probably to the first week in November.
Okay.
So
are you going to do the first week in November? With the first in it or the first full week of November?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Halloween is a Wednesday this year.
I'm probably going to look at the moon phase and make sure that we don't have like a full moon in the middle of the night when all the animals like to go nocturnal and never come out. So, I mean, it makes it worse.
I tell you what, watching that, I don't know if you fully believe in it or anything like that, but I truly believe that it does pay a little bit into it because
it's the amount of light.
It is.
It's not like the moon makes them do something magical. I mean, we've seen studies from a bunch of different researchers that moon phase does not dictate, certain things with deer. What I think it is, it's the amount of light that allows them to be able. I mean, they can see at night anyway, but it just makes them a little more active.
Exactly, and think about that. When you can go out in the middle of the night, and I've done this up north, stand on the porch, and you basically can see all the way across your yard. And if somebody was standing there, you could tell who it was. It's pretty bright.
Yeah, and you can see a shadow.
And you see the shadows. So just imagine what they can see.
Right.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. It's just, I'll look at the calendar too. I know I've got a wedding and a concert to go to in October. So it'll be here before I know it. But it's June, so we got some fishing to do. We got some shooting to do. We got some...
Lots of stuff to do.
Yep, we're going to get out and do some fishing. That's the plan.
So, well, I'll tell you what, folks, for the podcast portion of it here, we're going to sign off, and we'll let you guys here on the live stream throw some questions at us if you got anything. So, for everybody on the podcast, get back over, check out the video that we showed tonight on our live stream, which you're going to be posting on Wednesday.
I'll repost it on YouTube on Wednesday.
And this portion will be saved actually on our Facebook page. So, and make sure to give us a like if you haven't already. Share any of the stuff that we've got. If you like it, share it with your friends. We appreciate it.
All right, and if you're thinking about, talked about it tonight. Some turkey hunting season's over, but you want to start practicing. Get yourself a Lim Walker game call.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, you can
go over to his page. Lim Walker game calls on Friday night at
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. I always get that wrong. I always think it's 7 for some reason.
It's 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And he does a live stream much like we do right here and takes questions. And actually, I had him talking. Actually, he started talking a little bit of archery, and then I took him down that road. And
right.
We just kept on about it. So it was really good talk. We had a lot of fun. So, but yeah, go over and check out his live stream as well. And especially if you're thinking about doing some turkey hunting, maybe in the fall. So
yep.
But that's all I got for us this week.
All right. We'll see everybody next week. Same place, same time, right here.
And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Carbon Express,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Winsett Hunting Sense,
Killer Food Plots, Seeds, Supplements, and Attractants,
Cabela's,
Spot Shooters,
Lim Walker Game Calls,
Twisted Minds Bowstrings,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Antler Action,
and Family Traditions Tree Stands.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe until next week on the Up North Journal.